Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Beautiful morning, and I thought that I should make one or two videos from here. What's going on here? We have Donald Trump issuing an ultimatum to NATO. Donald Trump issues an ultimatum to NATO. Then he gets on G7, gives those guys an ultimatum. Then we have Japan. Remember when you have Poland playing victim, saying that why were we attacked by the Russians? I will show you a little example, which is I will use as a little example this article showing Japan providing about $250 million to Ukraine. Remember, Japan did not have to do that, but it does. So when the Russians are going to smack them, or they're going to tell them, you're not going to ever have the Kuril Islands or the Northern Territories, then they will cry like bitches, as the Poles are crying right now with the drones, and they say, we don't know why the Russians attacked us. Really, what have you been doing for the past 3.5 years against Russia without Russia doing anything to you? You did to Russia. Russia did not do anything to you, Poland. All right? You inserted yourselves in the equation of Ukraine. Not Russia, nobody else. You decided to do it. So the same thing with the Japanese, who are going to be smacked and they're going to cry like babies and say, we are the victims. And the last topic, I will give you a representation of how horrible, that's not the word, how criminal the enterprise in Ukraine is. And I'm not talking about the Ukrainians, I'm talking about the guys in charge of Ukraine, together with the big business, with the arms manufacturing companies, and how they use the Ukrainian nation to test their weapons, to use and make a profit on the lives of the Ukrainians on the pretext that they are defending them and protecting them from the Russians. Mr. Zmihal, now he is the defense minister of the Ukrainians, because he's Ukrainian. He met with the big arms manufacturing companies, or some, and he's going to make some deals. That is, you give us the weapons to protect everybody, including our territory, which is not Zmihal's territory, just so you know. And you're going to make a profit, but no. It's about helping lives, saving lives. So criminal. All right, let's start with Trump issuing an ultimatum to NATO, and that is related to the same thing Zmihal does with the arms manufacturing companies. That is money, profit. Remember, capitalism, we are taught, is like this. It is fair competition. You know what fair competition is? Fair competition is when the rules apply the same to everybody. And then if you have a better product, then you win. If people choose your better product, you advertise the product, correct? Advertisement is most of the business anyway. You can advertise a shitty product, and with advertising, if you reach more people, your product shittier than a better one, they will never hear about the other product. So in this case, how the Americans did it, they made the Europeans sanctions themselves in the name of good and defending Europe and so on with natural gas. So Europe is not buying natural gas. I mean, it's still buying some, I guess, liquefied natural gas and from the Russians, but they buy from the Americans. So the Americans entered the European market where they could not enter before. So let me show you the ultimatum. It's unbelievable. All right, let me see where that is. It is from Russia Today. And here it is. Trump issues Ukraine conflict ultimatum to NATO members. So what do you think he's saying? After this introduction I made, what do you think I'm about to say? Well, he is going to tell the NATO member states not to buy Russian oil if they want weapons. That they don't want weapons, but they have to want weapons because the Americans told them that they are under attack. You understand? So you don't need to buy our weapons, but we created a boogeyman, which is Moscow and Putin. Therefore, you need to buy our weapons, only our weapons, that we can turn off whenever we want, like the Patriots in Qatar, and the Israelis had no problems hitting the targets. Remember, the missiles launched by the attack, or the missiles launched by the Israeli Air Force on Qatar could have been easily stopped by the Patriot systems the Qatari had in their military, including that the Americans have the biggest base in Qatar in the Middle East. But they were turned off. I made 2 videos on that. Go and see it, the details. Now he uses Ukraine ultimatum, conflict ultimatum to all NATO. The US president has said he could sanction Moscow if the bloc, NATO, stops buying Russian oil. You got it? You got it? So all this comes from one direction, and the Europeans will oblige because the Europeans are owned with their traitors as well, in charge of them. So let's see what these guys are saying. Anything is going to jump on me? All right. US President Donald Trump has demanded that NATO members stop buying Russian oil and back steep tariffs on China, which he claims could bring an end to the Ukraine conflict. You see, everything is about saving lives. And in the name of saving lives, you relinquish, you give away your freedoms, you forget about the capitalism with a fair competition. Why? I'm going to make sanctions on you. I eliminate you from the market. Therefore, my shitty product will be available to you at a premium price. That's what the American capitalists are doing. Don't we like that? In Romania, communist Romania, we were told about this kind of thing, that it's all fake. But then after the revolution, we were told, oh, the American capitalism. No, it's nothing like that at all. And it's very angering when you realize that these guys were fooling you for so many years and continue to do that, telling you about the American freedom. Bullshit. American capitalism. Bullshit. And I can go on and on and on. So let's see. In a post on Truth Social on Saturday, Trump rebuked NATO countries for what he called their unwillingness to go far enough to stop the hostilities between Moscow and Kiev. I am ready to do major sanctions on Russia when all NATO nations stop buying oil from Russia. So what's going to happen? So if they stop buying oil from Russia, where are they going to buy it from, I wonder? Can you tell me? I'm listening intensely. Where are they going to buy from? From the Americans, obviously. So there you have it. In the name of saving lives in Ukraine, they tell the Europeans who should not have been in this war in the first place, but they were dragged by the same guys. So the Americans initiated garbage in Ukraine, and then they dropped little, like, I don't even know how to call it. They just, I am the initiator of something, and then I say, you come to the party, and then everything gets dropped on you. And I say, you know what, I'm going to blackmail you on that one. Motherfucker, it's your enterprise. Ukraine, it's the American enterprise, plus the Great Britain, which is not European Union anyway. So, and they don't consider themselves Europeans at times. It's like the chosen, you know. Sometimes they consider themselves a specific entity or ethnic or racial group, and sometimes they consider themselves white. Why? It depends how it works. What's their advantage? The same here. The Americans, the European, the Great Britain, the same thing. They are, but they're not. When they have to pay up, no, we're not. When they have to get some perks, we are. So what's going on here? So he told these guys, it's all about money. It's not about the Ukrainian lives and all that. They say it is like that, but it's not. It hasn't been from the get-go. And my problem is that people who love Ukraine and love the Ukrainian people, their traditions, their nations, is being decimated by foreign faraway foreign interest using the same garbage in the name of freedom. We're going to defend you, evil Russians and all that. It's always been like this. You have interest, and the economic interests are mainly the war. The wars are economic interest. I want something from you, material. I want your land, I want your wife, I want your water, I want your whatever you got is mine. So, and he is going to go to press G7 right here from Russia Today. Let me say, I lost this twice here. Twice. I was talking like this, and I put it on my arm, and I set it down. I forgot about it because I was talking, and I had to come and in the middle of the night try to find it, and obviously I found it. So what's going on here? U.S. to press G7 on seizing frozen Russian assets. So they don't want only to stop. It's about destroying Russia. It's not about protecting and all that. It's destroying them, and they try to do it. They couldn't do it militarily, so they try economically. They try that way until why? The goal is kneeling Russia and bringing Russia, as Europe and many other countries in the Western world, at the US's interest. When I say US and interest, it's not my interest or yours if you're American. No. It's the interest that harness, control the United States of America, and through the United States of America, they push their power and domination on this planet. That's how their agenda. So, the immobilized funds could be used to finance Ukraine. Everything is about Ukraine, man. And nobody can say, fuck that shit. Oh my God. You can't say that because you're very insensitive, immoral, and you lack empathy, and then you're a bad person. And we should not listen to a bad person ever, because we are good and you are bad. Sounds like a religion to me, but anyway. So the immobilized funds could be used to finance Ukraine, according to Washington proposal. The U.S. will press its G7 allies. There's no allies. It's just vassal states, allies. Okay. Have you ever heard one of the allies ever pressing the United States of America? Have you ever heard that? It's always vice versa. So that should make you understand. It's not allies. It's one guy tells everybody else what to do, and he gets the authority, they think, by numbers. Oh, we have the world opinion here. Like what? Like 5 countries? Like 20 countries? Is that the whole world? They don't care. Why? Because the media portrayed as such. So U.S. will press the G7 allies to establish a legal framework. What do you mean to establish a legal framework? I'm going to explain. For seizing frozen Russian assets, state assets, and channeling them to Ukraine. Who's gonna manage them? I want to manage that money. Can I manage that money? Please let me do that. I will be a billionaire in no time, before I even take the post. Anyway, so the Western nations froze an estimated $300 billion on Russian assets following the So what's going on over here? So they create a framework. What do you mean you create a framework? I tell you. I create a certain kind of policy, a policy that I agree upon, because that's going to give me the right to do what the fuck ever I want with you. So I'm going to design that, I'm going to put it forth, and I'm going to call it legal. I'm going to call it legal. I mean, you can say, well, the International Trade Organization said this about this, and they're going to say, what are they going to do? What is the International Trade Organization? We are it. We are again on it. So they will create a framework. That means they will design a scheme by which they will say, oh, actually, we can take this right here. Why didn't they do this for 3 years and a half? Look at the change of colors. Why didn't they do this for the past 3 years and a half? Only now they look for the framework? For 3 years and a half, they didn't find a framework? Now they're trying to do it. And when Trump says, America great, let's make America great again, you can choose. You can make America great again by robbing other countries. You can do that. But do you like that? Do you like robbing people? This is robbery right here. To help Ukraine. It's not about helping Ukraine. I'll tell you what's helping Ukraine, funding Ukraine. It's going to be American companies, American corporations reconstructing and supplying with that money Ukraine. It's going to be a private company who has continuous flow of orders to do. I don't know, 3,000 tanks for this month. Next one, 5,000 tanks. You always have orders. You're gonna be rich. You are. You're gonna dwarf the competition. You're gonna destroy the competition. There's gonna be no more competition. It's gonna be a monopoly. So, and do you think who's gonna be in charge of this? A Bernstein or someone? It's already there. Anyway, so that's with that. Let me go to the next article. I have to be... All right, let me go to the next article, which is not Trump's... Okay, let's go to the Japanese. And then after we go to Japanese, I think I go to the most important article, I think, for this video, in my opinion, my assessment. And that is, well, he said, Trump sets conditions for NATO allies before imposing major sanctions. This is from Ukrainska Pravda, but this is not only from Russia Today, right there. It's the same date today. And let's move on. It's from today, the 13th of September. And the article that I want to show you is this. And then we go to the arms manufacturing companies right there. This is from Ukr War. How should I put it? Something like that. And it says, Ukraine to receive over $246 million from Japan under Surge program. So they created a program, the framework, remember? They created it, and it says Ukraine and the International Bank of Reconstruction and Development, IBRD, have signed a $246.5 million loan agreement under the Surge program. Loan agreement. Let me see. The funds will be sourced from the Advancing Papa Ukraine Trust Fund, the Japanese government, backed by the Japanese government. So, what did Russia do in February 2022 to Japan? Anything? Did they sanction Japan? Did they do anything on Japan? No. They just invaded a country in Europe, right? All right, okay. Japan is in the Far East. Why did Japan feel the need to start sanctioning Russia, which they did? And the Russian says, okay, so you're not friendly. What are we going to do? We're going to do the same thing. Oh, no, you can't do that. Now these guys are going to give loans of reconstruction. Again, with a corporation. It's a racket. It's a money deal. Legal, because they created a legal framework. It's like I create the rules of a game, but in the rules of a game, it's all skewed because I have special privileges. But these are the rules. What are you going to do about it? I write the rules, I enforce the rules, and you fuck up, we are friends. Okay. So that's with Japan. So when Japan will be smacked by Russia, and will be smacked by Russia, I don't want to hear, and you're going to hear, the jackals in the media crying, oh, look what the Russians are doing. And always go to the chronology of events. Look how beautiful the colors are. And it's going to get even better, even better. So go to chronology of events and understand who, as in the Bible, cast the first stone. All right? And it was Japan. But Japan is an owned country, so it doesn't absolve them of being stupid or evil. It's an owned country. It's an occupied country. It's a moon right there. I don't know if you can see it somewhere. Right there above my head. So it's an occupied, under occupation, American occupation. But hey, we promote freedom, democracy. Let me fix something here. I'm going to put my iPad down again. And so the Americans are, how do you call that? Promoting the freedom, democracy, and all that. But Japan is still under US occupation. If you don't think it's under US occupation, I want you to have foreign troops on your territory, your constitution written by the Americans, or if not written, approved by the Americans, not by the French, by the Americans. They have American troops over there, and not only, they tell you what the hell to do, and in this case, you have the responsibility or accountability. You have to. You have to. All right, and that gets me to the main one, and I love this one because it's so nice. Comes from Ukr War, and it goes like this. Shmihal, the Jewish defense minister. He was the prime minister, now he's the defense minister. Why? More money there. Shmihal visits innovative innovative, Jesus Christ, innovative Ukraine defenses enterprise with international partners. What's a partner? All right. So here is the picture of the Zhmihal, the guy in, not in white, the guy over there wears a Ukrainian shirt, showing that he's a patriot, he's Ukrainian, but he's at the order of the bazaar guy called Zhmihal. So, what's going on here? Let me read to you. Defense Minister Denis Zhmihal, together with international partners. What is international partners? I tell you what international partners are. These are investors, foreign people, good companies with interest of profiteering from Ukraine's misery. But we are fed the narrative that no, they're actually helping us, like the banks helping us with interest. The banks don't help us. They are ripping us off. Why? If we can't pay under the contract, what are they going to do? Say, oh, it's okay, man, it's okay, keep the money. Help is without that kind of interest, you know? That's not a help. All right, so let's read further. I do not like the banks, just so you know. So, together with international partners, visited one of Ukraine's innovative defense enterprises. The defense minister, Zhmihal that is, the Ukrainian Zhmihal for you, noted that the delegation included Canada's Minister of Transport and Internal Trade. You can't fucking Cynthia Christia is how you call it? Freeland. You know where Freeland is? So she's still around. She has interest in Ukraine. Oh my God, she's here, still here. I thought she was gone. I saw her face. She's in a picture. Oh my God, remember when she quit from the Trudeau's, Jesus Christ, Trudeau's government? To do what? To work with money, more money, my friends. Right there, here she is. And if you look at her, that piece of garbage over there. If you look at her and you read, and I want you to go and read her, just Wikipedia, her biography, you're going to find out something about Ukraine, something about the Russians, sometimes about the Nazis, something about the Russians that I said, and so on. And she's not liking the Russians, just so you know. Piece of shit. Is she a Jewish? Go and check it out. Not that it matters, but in the name of truth, you want to find out certain things. Why? Just in the name of truth. Don't connect any fucking dots, okay? So, the defense minister noted that the delegation included Canada's Minister of Transport and Internal Trade, Estonia's defense minister, and members of the Munich Security Conference Supervisory Board. They will take over you. They were shot now how cutting-edge weaponry is being developed in Ukraine, technology that is actively shaping the course of the war. And I'm quoting, we are ready to share our experience and scale up joint projects with our partners to protect both Ukraine and European countries from potential threats. Zhmihal said, well, Canada is not from Europe, so what the fuck are you talking about, Zhmihal? Well, you know. So what's the point there? What's going on over there? I tell you what's going on. This is how it goes. We have foreign corporations, in this case, arms manufacturing companies. They promote their politicians with money, opening doors and all that. Those guys get in power. They create a war that they have to fight for freedom and democracy. And then who's going to come to the rescue? The same guy who promoted you as a politician to dislike those guys, we have to smack these guys, but not Israel, or these guys and that, okay? And after that, what's going on? After that happens, you come with the help, man. You come with the help and you do it jointly. Why? To defend Ukraine. And remember, for that, those weapons will be used by the Ukrainians, not by Zhmihal or Zelensky-Stein or Yermak-Stein or Reznikov-Stein. No. By the real Ukrainians, by the Gabarchuk, Chapaskovich, Kapchechur, all those guys. They will die for these guys to defend them, help them defend themselves with our profits. It's just a combination. If you look at it that way, I think that's the real way to look at it. Not with, oh, we protect Ukraine. No, I think everything is the other way around. Their interest, who wants to make a profit on the poor Ukrainians who are dying for these guys' profits. I think that's a crime. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.